Hello, guys. Happy Thursday. We are at day 4 of the Love Your Body Challenge, and I really hope that you've been getting amazing value out of the past 3 days. I've loved seeing everyone's comments. I loved hearing all the shares about how we can cultivate more body love from yesterday's live and yesterday's post. So keep them coming, guys. This is a practice, it is something that we continue to do every single day in order to create the love that we want to have for our bodies. So whether you're using food to do it, like we've talked about blood sugar balance and the importance of protein to balance your blood sugar levels, if you're doing it through mindfully eating, taking note of your hunger and fullness cues, good morning, Sandra, or if you're really looking in the mirror and figuring out ways to find the parts of your body that you're going to grow the love in, that's so important. I also shared, hi Leah, so glad you're here live. I also just shared that I have a new bonus episode of my podcast, which is the Nourish Your Body Nourish with Renata podcast. I have a new episode, which is a body love meditation. So make sure you go ahead and try that after this episode or after this video, because it really is something that when you practice, listening to your body and taking the time to slow down, release that tension and stress, and tune into the areas of your body that you do love and that you want to grow more love in, it helps you to do exactly that. So make time, try out the meditation, and let me know how it goes. Today we are talking about emotional eating. Oh, Leah said it's chilly in the UK. Oh, I don't envy you at all. Hopefully it will warm up soon. So, emotional eating often has a really negative connotation. People hear the words emotional eating, hi Ravi, and they think, oh my gosh, I don't want to be an emotional eater. I'm not an emotional eater. I just eat when I'm hungry. I'm good. Don't worry about it. But actually, I believe that we're all emotional eaters. So, this is important to understand because emotional can have both positive and negative connotations. We, for instance, celebrate birthdays or anniversaries or like a raise at work with food, right? We go out to eat. We might have cake for our birthdays. We might have champagne for anniversaries, wine, etc., chocolate, cookies, all these things, right? And they're associated with a celebration, something that is positive. Now, the flip side of that is we often use food to console and to comfort. So we use food, for instance, if you're feeling depressed after a breakup, you might lean towards eating ice cream or chocolate or drinking alcohol, right? So these are all indications or examples of foods that you could use if you are feeling low and you're trying to help yourself to feel better. And ultimately, that's why understanding emotional eating is so important. So Ravi's saying that, yeah, he's an emotional eater when he's upset. Absolutely. So I wanted to explain why this happens because I think it's important to understand this from a scientific level, because when we have that amount of information and evidence, it really helps us to have this background information so we can make different choices. So if you are finding that, for instance, we'll use the example of when you're really upset, you might use food to console and to comfort. And this is honestly a very normal thing to do, right? It's a normal thing to want to try to help yourself to feel better through the use of food. But what actually is happening in the body? So let's say, for instance, Ravi used the example of sugary drinks. Leah's talking about how her mom made a huge apple crumble. That will be amazing. Save me some. But let's use the example of like a sugary drink or like a baked sweet confection that you might lean towards eating if you're having a really bad day. So let's imagine that you've had like literally the worst day at work. Your boss is mad at you. There's been tons of traffic. You're late getting home. Your spouse or partner is upset with you. Your kids hate you. It's just the worst day, right? So you go and you grab a sugary drink or you grab like a sweet confection to help yourself to feel better. Now, what actually happens in the body when you do this? When you eat things that are higher in traditional refined sugars or just refined carbohydrates, like we talked about on Monday, it impacts your blood sugar level. So what it does is all that sugar becomes a way for your blood sugar level to increase over time, and it might be really quickly, especially if it's in a liquid form, or slightly more gradually if it's more in something that you would need to chew up, but it does cause an increase in your blood sugar level. So when your blood sugar level goes up, this literally makes you feel better. It makes you feel like, oh, I have energy now. I'm feeling a little bit more of a pep in my step. I'm feeling like a little bit happier because my energy, my blood sugar level has increased. So the reason why we turn to food for solace, for comfort, for consolation is because it's literally making ourselves feel better. It's increasing our blood sugar level, which is increasing our energy, which helps us to feel better. Hi, Mackenzie. So when we understand that, we're trying to find a way for us to literally help ourselves feel better, it allows us to think about emotional eating differently, right? Because if you know you're literally using food to help you to feel better, then you can also choose to find other ways to help yourself to feel better. You can choose to really dive into what is the emotion that's making me feel really horrible right now? Or what was the situation that triggered the emotions that I'm feeling right now? And be really upfront and honest with yourself about what is actually going on. And I know that this can be really challenging. It's causing us to be so open and honest and vulnerable about our feelings. And this can be very uncomfortable, right? It can be really hard to look introspectively, to look within and be like, you know what? I'm actually really pissed off because all these people are mad at me and I really don't feel like it's my fault, right? Or it could be causing you to really understand, like, hey, this breakup happened and maybe there were some things that I was responsible for that I didn't take responsibility for at the time. And that makes me feel really bad about myself. Getting honest about the emotions that you're trying not to feel and instead using food as that comfort, as that consolation. And honestly, it's a literal and figurative way of putting something on top of those emotions, right? When we are upfront about those things, it helps us to look at emotional eating a little bit more differently, okay? It just opens us up to a different conversation. So that's why emotional eating is such a great topic. And we're literally just starting off with this conversation about emotional eating. There's so much to it. But if today you find that you're feeling some big emotions and you're using food as that comfort, the first step is always awareness. The first step is always understanding, okay, I'm noticing that something's a little bit off. I'm feeling a little bit low, depressed, anxious. I'm feeling frustrated, stressed out, etc. And I'm reaching for food as that comfort, as that consolation. The first step is always awareness, noticing what's happening. The second step is then asking yourself that really tough question: what emotion am I trying not to feel right now that I'm using food as a way to put it on, to basically dampen it, right? So this is a practice, like everything. When we have the awareness, when we ask the tough questions, it's really how we start understanding our own behaviors, our own habits when it comes to emotional eating. And when we keep diving into this over and over again, it really does help you to develop a different relationship with food. You might recognize that you're really feeling like, oh, I'm a victim to chips, for instance. Every time I see chips, I can never not eat them. I just have to eat the whole bag until they're gone. There's often an emotional component behind it. And when we can dive into that emotional component, that's when we can start to release these feelings of feeling like we're a victim to the chips or a victim to whatever food is around, and instead start to mindfully and purposefully create that relationship with food that is much more healthy, not just in terms of our physical well-being, but our mental and emotional well-being too. Okay, so Leah said, introspection is so difficult but so powerful to help you to make better choices when you are aware of the why. That is so true, Leah. Thank you for sharing that. So, guys, today, just take notice. Have that awareness of, when am I emotionally eating? I'd love for you to share that if you're feeling open to it. Just share it in the group a little bit later, because we're all emotional eaters, right? There's nothing to feel ashamed of or guilty of. We do emotional eating all day long, whether it's positive or negative, okay? So, if you have any questions about emotional eating, please remember that I do have my free 20-minute nutrition consultations available. 20 minutes to talk about what your particular challenges are and to find a way for you to start working through it, okay? So let me know here in the comments or send me a DM if you want to book your 20-minute nutrition consultation. And tomorrow is day 5 of the Love Your Body Challenge, and we're all about celebration. I can't wait. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you later on here in the group. Thanks so much. Bye.